Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Yeah, totally. I can do that. So, hi everybody. My name is Juliet. I don't know why you can you see what I'm sharing? I'm sharing on my
Yes.
face on
Yeah, I
the
could
face.
see.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't see it on the other side. Perfect. So, I'm Juliet, and if you see an H, it's silent. So, I'm originally from Colombia, and we speak Spanish, and as H's are silent. So, my name is Juliet Fajardo. A little bit about my life. Again, I born in Colombia. Back in the days, I studied fashion design. I moved to Barcelona where I did a master's in fashion marketing. Uh, then I moved to Vancouver. I did 10 years of retail. Then in 2019, 2020, I ended up changing careers into UX design. I create UX and Tame, that is a podcast. I had Melanie as a guest speaker 2 days ago. Then I create a YouTube channel where I talk about my change of careers, but this is more in Spanish. I'm a co-founder of Cherry on Tech, that is a volunteer-based organization that we empower underrepresented genders to get into tech. And what do I do? I'm a senior UX designer at Inkblot. Again, I'm a content creator. I do mentor an ADP list. And again, I'm a co-founder of Cherry and Tech. And when I mention all of this, for me, it's really important for you to know that one of the values that I live my life by is empower others. So every single thing that I do and every project, it kind of encapsulates that value. And I mentioned the value because it's going to be super important for what we're going to be talking today. So a little bit of the agenda. Again, that was my intro. I would love to know more about everybody that is joining us today. We're going to talk about the top values that we live our life by. We're going to discover your superpower, how to build a personal brand, navigating challenges and rejections with the power of mindset, and crafting an action plan. And this is really structured. This is usually if you have a one-on-one with me on ADP list. This is how I we talk about your life and we talk about your profession. So what we're going to be doing today is going to do a bigger one-on-one mentors session. And the most important of this is that all of you share about you. So that's why we have this. I see more people in this board. So we're going to start with sharing a little bit about you. Okay. So perfect. If you, the idea is that you choose one of these one. Each of you have a camera. You just need to press the red button and a little picture will come up. You just post. You get the picture. And you just put it wherever you want on the board. But I'm going to give everybody like around 2 minutes. I see two people. So I feel like there's more people on the right now here. Yes?
Yeah,
More people.
absolutely. If you guys have a chance, we'll give you a couple of minutes to access the Fig Jam link. If you're looking for it, make sure that you click on the living room name and click on the speech bubble icon to open up the toggle chat. And there's a link right there to Fig Jam. So if you want to see what Julieth is seeing or what we're seeing on the stream, definitely check out that Fig Jam link and participate in this activity. Thank you.
Perfect. Yes. So tell me, where are you located? You don't need to tell me all your name. Just the first name is okay. Share a little bit about you. Like again, I share already a little bit. I'm Colombian. I live in Vancouver. Um, get married. Just got married. Uh, Even though we're going to talk about your superpower and your top three values, um, I want you to write those down right now so we get a perspective of where you are standing today. Maybe when we start talking more in depth about what is a superpower, what are your strengths outside of being a designer, what are your top 3 values, it's going to guide you better to a more specific you and who you are, and again, the uniqueness of each of you. So I'm going to give, see a couple of you. Let's give everybody like 2 minutes for this. I don't know if you can hear the music, but I always like to hear the music. They have such a good playlist on Figma. But as we go, I'm going to be reading a little bit about you. If you don't have an idea about like what is your superpower, just think about like Spider-Man or Superman. What do they do that they are so powerful? I will say, yeah, I can start with what is my superpower? I say collaboration. I'm talking here more about like work environment. My top 3 values, I already share a little bit my top one, that is empower others. Another one, I mean, I love to share with people about my life. Yeah, we're talking about superpowers. What values? Empower others. Oh, see, I mixed it up. Empower others.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys are
Is
stuck
that
on
for me?
for your our participants, if you're kind of stuck on what your superpowers could be, you could try to reframe it as like, what's something that you really want to be skilled at, or something that you really want to like focus on a skill that you have and develop it better. Because you never know. Sometimes the things
And
that you don't know that
you
you're
never know.
strong at might be your biggest strength.
Yeah, and I think like that's what we're going to discover today, because we don't know what our superpowers sometimes, and I think a lot about superpowers, something that we do so well, we don't even think about it. Okay, I feel like we have a couple of entries. We have I don't know anyone's name. So Ashley, we have Ashley, we have Ali. Have this person name, but that's okay. Yes. Oh, Pavani. There you go. I can see your name. Thank you. Perfect. Great. Okay. So we're going to the second part. I always ask everybody about this. Is mostly, I think that a lot of people that comes to me, they are career changers, but I just wanted to know, are you a career changer or not? If you all can follow me, let's spotlight me. Come over here and tell me, are you a career changer? You can come over here and use a sticker if you want. That works. You can use one of the stamps. That works too. The stamps are so little. That's what I don't like them that much. But come here into the stickers. Tap a sticker, any sticker, and let me know, are you a career changer? Yes or no. I feel like a lot of people is, yeah, you can duplicate them. Let's duplicate the stars. I just put it into the yes or no. Everybody's trying to say yes. Okay, everybody's trying to say yes. Perfect. Great. Okay. And if you're a career changer, that means that you did something before coming into design. So come over here, grab a sticky note, and let me know, what did you do before becoming a designer? Let's see. Yeah, perfect. What did you do, Pavani? Oh, yeah, I saw you writing. Okay, baking, nice. Oh, yes, Allison, this is big. Marketing, okay, good. Allison, banking. Oh, banking, student loans. Oh, a lot of banking. Marketing. Perfect. Thank you all for sharing. For services, okay, Ash, you have done a lot of stuff. Nice. Banking, working operations, and loans, processing. Nice. Okay. Fine arts. That's what you went to school, Ali? Oh, perfect. Thank you for sharing. Now, why did you change? Why did you get into design? What was the main reason? So get another sticky note and let me know, why did you get into design? What got you into changing your career? What I like usually about this, when we start so much hearing about who we are, what we have done, is that give us an idea that we are so unique to who we are, that we all come from a unique path. And like when you start seeing what other people have done, you see that we are all so different. Okay, nice. Okay, let's see why we change. Feel like design match, need a change. Yes, perfect. And I'm not asking this here too, but when did you do the change? Did you do the change like a couple of years ago, or it was like during the pandemic that you felt like you wanted to change? Mostly, I changed my career around 2019. I knew that I wanted to change my career like maybe 5, 7 years ago, but I didn't know exactly what to do. Okay, perfect. Gonna change for the field, change problem solving during the pandemic. Yes, I feel like the pandemic gave us a space for all of us to realize what it wasn't really important for us. Okay, Ash, I feel like Ash is still writing here. Complement the US certification September have not job. That's okay. I feel. Oh, good. Ash, why did you change into design? What got you into design? Mm, okay, no worries. Let's move into the next part. Okay. And for me, honestly, this is one of the most powerful things that I did when I changed my career, is really sinking into what are the top values that I live my life by. We're changing careers when for me, I say immigrating because I'm Colombian. I moved to Canada. When we're changing life and we're changing careers, we're looking to leave something behind and do something different. And when we anchor all of this into our values, this is going to help us to take the right decision at the right time. So I'm going to invite a few of you. I don't know where Ash go. Ash, are you here? If you want to join us in here, we're going to write down the three top values that you live your life by. And these values can change order and they can change importance as you go in your life. Ash was just sharing that he changed his career and he doesn't have a job in the field yet. So maybe for him and for all of people who's changing careers, one of the things, the most important things right now are career, our profession, and those can change again during the time. So the first thing that we're going to do is self-reflection. Um, we're going to start thinking of like what is important for you, what is like something that won't change during the time right now. So let's start thinking about that. Um, what do you like about your interests? What is something that you really enjoy? So, like, just think about that. Um, Feel like when you go back and let's say you are not looking for a job and you're just sitting at home, what are the things that always come to your mind that are important? And I know that I brought here this list of values from Dare to Lead from Brene Brown. If you have ever heard about Brene Brown, uh, one of my favorite writers, a lot of books that are going to help you for your self growth. I really enjoy. So go through the list, pick five, take your sticky note, take a sticky note, and write down top five values that you are living your life by right now. And start thinking those values, how you can test them into your life, into different day to day. So for example, if your top value you're saying is family, that means that you value family and you prioritize spending time with your family. If you start thinking in your day to day, and I don't know, is your one of your favorite family members' birthday, they're putting together a party and then they invite you, and then for some reason something comes up and you cannot make it, or your friends is like, hey, we have this party, you want to come? So you go to your family, your friends instead of your family. Is your family your value, first value? Maybe not, and maybe it's your friendship, and that's totally okay. What I'm saying is really tries to test those values to see if they're really your top ones or not. Okay, let's see. Adaptability, learning, humanity. Nice. Okay. Oh, we have Murtaza. Yes, Murtaza. I don't know if you know what we're doing right now, but
Dinner's on the
sticky
table.
note.
You want dinner? You want dinner? Come on then.
Thank you. Yes. No worries. Yes, I was trying to realize who was. Okay, so coming to this list from Dare to Lead, pick five values. And again, when you're thinking in these values, test them through real life experience that you went through to see if they're really your top values. To give you 2 more seconds, or like a minute. I think that people is reading. So Ash, I'm going to be reading as people keep doing. So Ash, yours are learning, honesty, serenity, openness, stewardship. Nice, thank you. Or Mustafa, oh yes, learning, humanity, success, fun, perfect. Vani, freedom, adventure, trust, love, listen, adaptability, contribution, humor, real, reliability, and trust. Oh, some words are really hard. Perfect, thank you. Okay. Now that we have our values, and we can move to the next one that is a little more centered into the superpower. Let's go to the next section. Because now we know a little more about us and we know a little more what is important for us and what is the core things that keep us holding us every day. So how to discover your superpower? And I think this is a hard one because, again, like I was mentioning before, sometimes we have things that we do every day and we are good at it, but we don't even know. I think it's one of those things like breathing. You don't know that you're breathing, but you know that you are because you're alive. So start thinking about what are you passionate about? What comes naturally to you? And what does it make you feel more alive? So grab another sticky note and start thinking, what are you passionate about? And again, do not center any of this on design or in your profession. Go on everything that you like, whatever it is. We're talking about your whole life. And usually I like to talk about your superpower and as a toolbox. You each of us have a toolbox. And during our whole life, we keep putting things that were in a toolbox. We learn, we grow, and all those skills and all those experiences go there. when we think about a new career, we just adding another new tool on it. So it's not that you forget your tool bag, you just bringing that tool back everywhere that you go. Now you have another skill and another tool inside. So what are you passionate about? What comes naturally to you? What does it feel motivated or alive? And again, this goes on strengths and passion. For me, thinking on my past experience, I worked in retail for 10 years. Um, putting the connection together when I was moving into design is what is something that I did every day. Is every day someone, and not just one person, like 10, 20 people will come to me asking me for answer, asking me for questions, and I have to resolve all of this sometimes in an instant of a second. So I didn't know that I was good at this, mostly because I did it every single day and with so many people. So I feel like I'm really good at resolving issues, problem, really fast. I'm really good at motivating people. I didn't know this either because, again, it was something so ingrained in myself that I didn't know that I was like a superpower of mine. It was like everybody should be able to do this. But again, this is something that I cultivate every single day. So let's start thinking, Ash, you have yours already. So, representation, validation, artist expression, inclusiveness, diversity. Love it. Flow management. Yes, I feel like, yeah, Murtaza, I feel you talk about your past experience and what you're good at it. Yeah, bring those in. Uh, think about stuff that makes you like, fun and enjoyable. Whatever, like those things that you do outside of work. For me, for example, I do CrossFit. No, not that is my strength, but I take pictures, and I remember going to the gym with people that I go to the gym with, and I see them how they grow and how strong they get and how much confident they get, and it's like, what will be cool if you can have a picture of them looking like this. It's like sometimes I don't know if people see how much they have grown. So I start taking pictures, and now it's one of the things that I think I'm really good. I'm just good at taking pictures of people looking good and them feeling strong. So again, that's something that I consider my superpower too. What about for Pavani? Telling stories. Oh, curious about new things. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Allison, creativity into individuality. Perfect. I feel like Mortaza, I feel like you have strengths outside, like more than just work and what you used to do. So I will challenge you to go back and sit down and really think about those strengths and superpowers, things that you're really good and you didn't even know. And if it's hard for any of us to know, it's like, hey, I don't know what I'm good at. Go to people that care about you, people that you have worked with, and say, hey, what is something that you have seen in me that is so unique, that is so powerful, that is going to help you to
No, I'm
find the
doing it.
right thing? Sometimes, again, like breathing, we forget that we do it all the time. So go and ask people that loves you and try to guide you to find those superpowers.
Am I
The next
audible?
part is creating a brand. Yeah, yes, go for
I
it. Go
was
for it.
saying, I was saying to Juliet that yes, I do
Oh,
it
I cannot
sometimes.
hear
Means
you. Are you, Murtaza? For some reason, I cannot hear you.
okay, let me connect with some Bluetooth device.
No. Oh, were you able to hear Murtaza? Oh, no, I couldn't. Really? Oh, wow. Because I could hear you. Oh, it's interesting.
Leave it, we can continue. No problem.
Mm. Sasa, you want to go ahead and maybe let's try it again. Yeah, that will be helpful. Yeah, we can do, or you can write it on the chat too if you want. I see. Are we writing about superpowers or like what I'm passionate about? Yes, and I feel like that's a good question because sometimes the things that we're passionate about are our superpowers and we don't know about it. So think about those two as right now, write everything. Like, what are you passionate about? And a lot of things, a lot of times when I'm talking to people about what they're passionate about, let's put an example of like video games. Really bad at video games. And I will never go into like going to a company that do video games and say, "Oh, I love it and I'm really good at it." That's not my passion. You will see it when I'm talking about it. Let's say that you're really good at video games and you've been playing for a long time, for your whole life, so you're really good. So that means that you, as a UX designer, already know how the environment works, how to play, make it better. So you're already good at this. This is your passion. You're really good at video games. When you go and talk to a company that they do video games, and even though let's say that you're new into UX design, but they can see your passion, they can see your experience playing the game, that's a big win. That's your superpower there. It's a superpower that I don't have. So I feel like write down that helps. Definitely helps. And that's what I'm thinking, that don't just talk about your superpowers in design, talk about your superpowers on any area of your life. Again, I talk about CrossFit, I talk about photography, I talk about how I collaborated on my team. I love planning things. Yes, I like. I just got married this year, and we had like three different parties. One in where my wife is from, one here in Vancouver, and one in Colombia. And we did pretty much all the planning, and I really something that I enjoy. And sometimes you take those things for granted because it's something that you do outside of work, but that's a superpower that is so helpful when you go to work. Yeah, so write down all of those things that you know that you're good, that you've been doing for so long, that you can use um, to create your brand. Because now that you have two things, so we have your values, you have your superpowers. Now we can start thinking about creating your personal brand. So self-discovery, this is what the two things that we've been doing in the last two examples. Who are you going to talk with? Who is that? Is the target audience that you're going to be interacted with? Think about that. Create your unique selling proposition. And when I'm talking about this, is sometimes I see a lot of people portfolios. You know, you have your hero page and you have that initial thought, and everybody's saying the same. Oh, I'm a UX designer that crafts unique experiences centered in, I don't know, in accessibility. I don't know. All of these sound the same, and you need to go back to who you are and who you've been in the past. Your, I don't know, 10, 20 years of experience of life, and take all of that and bring it into your unique selling proposition. So for me, at the beginning, and again, this changed over time. I changed careers in 2020. And for me at that point, it was a lot of like the passion projects that I did at that moment in time. But all these passion projects were centered again in empowering others. So that was kind of one of my unique selling propositions. The other one was like, hey, I have work. retail for 10 years. That means, again, that I'm solutioning and creating unique experiences in the service environment for 10 years. That's so unique to me. So, what we're going to do now is start thinking about what is that unique selling proposition that no one else have. So if we go back to the examples of, uh, let's come back here. Again, we have to come, what did you do before design? So for example, for Ash, you were into banking, you knew a lot about student loans, retail, food service. So this is, again, something unique to you. And you mix that with, how did you change it to design? You want to be more creative. You want to choice of clients, values matching. This is what I got into design. Yes. You want to give value to people, yes, to what they're doing. So now you have two things. Then your values, so your values are learning, honesty, serenity, openness, stewardship. So now if you start mixing all of these three things, your superpowers that are representation, validation, artist expression, inclusiveness, and diversity. These are unique to you. And if you go, all of you, and review the other people's answers, they're so unique. So how you make all of this and creating a personal brand. And honestly, this takes time. This is not like something that you can just write down today and make it happen. For me, it's really important, and something that I talk a lot is about networking and talking to people and sharing about this. So if you start thinking about who you are, again, for me at one point, I was talking with a lot of people. I was talking honestly between 10, 12, 15 people a week at one point. I will say that I have the privilege to concentrate just to look for a job when I finish my career. But I was really putting all my effort in developing who I was as a new person in UX, as a new person in tech, and I really needed to bring back everything that I did in the past. So think about that. Who are you? What do you have in the past that is so unique to you? And start telling people this, and see how we sit with people and see how they are approaching your storytelling. The most important, I think, is for you to continue learning and for you to continue growing. This is not something that is just happening a day. When I start talking to, again, 5 people, 7 people, 10 people, and telling my story in different ways, in a continuous ways of like, if I'm talking, for example, for someone in marketing, or if I'm talking with someone in design, or if I'm talking with someone in development, this story will change to appeal more or to make more sense to the person who I'm talking to. Yeah. So if I'm talking to an HR, I will talk about what I did in the past and how, for example, my passion projects have helped me to be a better UX designer. If I'm talking to a developer, it is like, hey, on these projects that I did, this is how I communicate with developers. This is how my collaboration is really powerful. If I will talk to a designer, is like, this is how the process that I did. This is how I interact with the stakeholders. That story will change all the time, but you need to practice. There is nothing better than really go out and practice and see how your personal brand is reflecting in others. This personal brand should be reflected on, for example, your LinkedIn and your social media. It should be reflected in your portfolio. It should be reflected in how you are writing down your resume. This should be reflected in when you are networking to people. You're constantly telling people what are your superpowers, what are the unique things to you, and what you bring into the table. Okay. So I mean, this is not easy. Yes, right now, changing careers and seeing the market and seeing what other people are doing is hard. Um, so, what is more important is that you really center in you. It's important to acknowledge and accept where you are in this moment, but most of all, reflect and reframe your perspective. Honestly, it's really easy to think, hey, I'm not enough. I don't have experience that I need. I don't have all the projects. My portfolio is the worst. Is easy because this is thoughts that are constantly in your mind. But when you start reframing that perspective and start pausing yourself and say, hey, hold on, I'm telling this to myself for real. Do I believe this? All these thoughts. And then you realize that that is not true, that you don't think that you are not enough. You are enough. You're here. You're doing the work. You're putting the hours. That's being enough. Um, it's important to stay in your line and start thinking, what have I done until today that it took that allowed me to be here, instead of thinking, oh, see what is that person doing. So come back and reframe to your perspective, to you, who you are. And when I'm talking about positive self-talk, I'm not saying just say great things about you all the time and believe in even if it's not true. It's just reframe those bad thoughts. It's like, um, I'm shy. I feel like a lot of people put in this, like, I'm shy, or I don't think that I can go and talk to people. I'm not saying change who you are to go and talk to people. Be shy talking to people. That's who you are. That's perfect. So start changing that. Like, no one is calling me, or I didn't do good in this interview. If you didn't do good interview, what do you learn from that interview? How can you do it better next time? I love Honestly, I love failing, because when you fail, you're saying, hey, how can I improve? How I can do this better? Sit down and write down is like, it was good in this interview. Um, Another one that is a good one, focusing what you can control. I cannot control how many jobs are out there. I cannot control if people is calling me back or not. That's out of my control. But what I can control now, and again, coming back to networking, is going and talk to people about me, putting myself out. Uh, that's something that is under control. Applying for jobs is under your control. Looking for companies that you deserve, looking for spaces that value the same values is something that is under your control. Um, so again, don't think the market is crashing, looking all the laid off. That's not under your control. You cannot do absolutely anything about that. So what is something that you can control? What is something that a step that you can take to where you want it to go? And I love this phrase, like, from embracing failure as a stepping stone. So I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work. I love that, because you give it a try and you went again. It's like, okay, this is not working. Let's change it. Um, I love that. I don't know if I love these kind of things, but okay. This is really quick, but I can open up for Q&A if anyone has any questions.
Yeah, feel free to unmute your mics, or you could also use the Discord chat. So if you guys want to regroup back onto Discord, we could do that for Q&A. Thank you for walking us through everything. It looked great. I loved how you set up everything on FigJam. And the photo booth.
It was my first. I love it. Yes, that's one of my favorite things from Big Jam is the photo booth. I try to bring it in every time that I have an event with a lot of people. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Okay,
Let's
so we
see what
have
I would say.
one question from Hypatia. They ask, how can you be braver when switching careers? Sounds like a good question.
I love that. Yes, love that. And I think, Hapatia, start thinking the first time the thought about changing careers came to you, you have already felt that braveness inside of you. This is something that it was already growing on you, like a little plant. Like you've been having these seeds of thoughts of like, hey, I think that I can do something different. I think that I deserve something better. And I feel like you don't need to be braver. It's going to be scary and it's going to be hard. But again, when you're having that thought to say, like, hey, let's change careers, that means that around your life, like a lot of things that had happened in your life had take you to that thought. When you start thinking, okay, what do I want to do? Then you have already have the skills and you already know that you have the strengths and the things to take you there. Just don't realize that. Um, and I think that's such an interesting thing to come back to the thought of like, hey, what do I want to change life and how do I want it to get there? You just keep trying. I feel like um, don't think about like, oh, I need to be inspired to do this. I need to be the best to go and do this. No one have done it like that. You just have to go and do the step. Like, hey, let me go and research what it is to be a UX designer. Let me go and talk to people and see if I see myself doing this. Uh, so I think just by thinking about changing career, I will tell you that you're already brave enough to do it. So, and I think this is when you start thinking about changing the way that you think, this is a good one. It's like, hey, yes, I'm brave enough because I'm thinking about it, and I think that I can do it, and I have the skills to do it. And when you start thinking again in those values, in your strengths, in your superpowers, you have all of these things already on your toolbox for you to do it. So, yeah. Thank you for
Great,
the
thank you for
question.
answering that. And we also have a comment from Ali. They appreciated how interactive the Fig Jam was. Thank you. Pavani says, I like this self reflection. It has got me thinking about my strengths. I'm glad it did. Because that's something that I think everyone needs to do, even if you're starting off doing something new. You need to like encourage yourself and also compliment and reward yourself for the things that you do best, and that's individual and unique. So don't forget to like do some self praise and also some self work, and I think that's really important for everyone to do. And username A, I can't see their full username, but I think that might be Ash or Ashley. I'm not sure. Uh, when did you think about becoming a mentor? That's what they ask.
Oh, this is a good one too. Um, and if we're going back to our values, and I was mentioning before, one of the most important for me is empowering others. One of the reasons that I got into UX is like I really like to see when people get excited about their life and they get excited about what is coming. It's like, oh, I want to see this in a different, a bigger scale. Before I got into ADP List, I'm in different UX groups and different Slack, Facebook, again, different spaces. And a lot of people are like, hey, will anyone be down to share about their, I was going to say training station, but their boot camp experience, their changing careers, a bit then uh, all of this experience. And I'm always down to this. And then I realized, okay, I really like to talk to people. I really like to ask questions. I feel like this is like as you saw on the workshop, this is exactly what will happen if we have a one-on-one. I will like ask you as many questions, try to dig in more into who you are, for you to realize that you have all the tools and you have everything that is needed for this career change and for landing your first job. So I love that. I think I just love to see people excited about who they are and how they are bigger that they become of. themselves. So I love it.
Okay, thank you. And we have another comment from Murtaza. They ask, "I'm moving from graphic design to user experience. Is this wise? Is this a wise move in the age of AI?" I guess they're worried about AI replacing designers in the future.
I feel like we all, like any career is pretty much afraid of that, any profession. I think this goes back to who you are and what are you bringing to the table. There are going to be things that are not going to be replaceable for AI or any machine. That is interaction that you have with people, the interaction that you have to stakeholders, the way that you collect all the information and make it sense to people. So again, we're coming back to your strengths, who you are, and what are you bringing to the table, and how you're using these tools for your advantage. I think that's the most important. Is like, are you learning about it? How can you use it for good, for your advantage at work, and making your work easier? I think that's how I use it. I just want to make my work easier and put the energy of my day to day in something that it matters most for me.
Yeah, I have 100% agree that like if you utilize AI as if it's a tool that's going to help you to do your job better, I think that's a great way to frame it. Because I've definitely had volunteers that have helped us with, the collective studio, and they've recommended AI for copywriting. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I could do this. So, yeah, like, see what the potential of AI is. And if you know how to use it, then that just is another skill that you could add to your tool belt that would just help you to differentiate. So, yeah, that's a great thing to mention. Okay, so Pavani says, "What's the best way to answer the question, why are you changing careers?" When I was asked this in an interview, uh, can we be entirely honest? So I think they're worried about whether they're going to be asked this question in interviews and how to respond to it.
Yeah, this is a good one too, and I think I will ask you back. Like, what? Maybe you can. Why don't you tell me? Why do you change careers again? And I feel like something that I realized is I wanted to change. Like, let me maybe share my first experiences. Like, I was in retail for 10 years, and I realized that I wanted to give more to people, more to the employees, and I couldn't do it. There was always this big no about giving more to employees. And then I realized too that when you go to work in retail, what you do, and you're selling and selling, and you don't care about anything else. Like, that was the main priority. Even, yeah, it didn't make sense for me. So then when you start coming back to your values, it's like, okay, this doesn't sit well for me anymore. So that's what I'm changing. When you go sometimes to interviews, and you really are anchored into your values and why are you doing this, I feel like it's important to tell why honestly change. And at one point, if on a space when you're being honest and you're being yourself and they're not accepting that, then you don't need to be there. I think that's the other, for me, really important. But again, I'm talking from a space of like, when I was looking for a job, I didn't have to find a job tomorrow. So I didn't have to like put myself in a box because I needed to find a job. I was really into like, I want to find a space where all my values are really aligned with them, with the things that I want to do are really important for them too, where they see myself as my whole self, not just as a UX designer. Because again, if I talk to myself in 2020 as a designer, the experience that I have is minimum. Yes, like my toolbox as a UX designer was small. If they didn't see my toolbox as a whole Juliet, it was not, I didn't want to be there. I was really honest and put myself out as my true self the whole time because I wanted to find a space that accepted me as who I am. Again, not all of us have that. Like, I could find a job in 3, 6 months, 9 months. I was okay with that. I didn't have that pressure. but it's really important for you to know where you are and if you can be honest or not. And if it's important at this point, again, we're coming back to your values. For maybe for you is like, I need to find a job right away because I need to pay rent. So I need to change a little bit how how I show myself. Um, because sometimes, yeah, again, me as a women, immigrant women, sometimes is not a safe space to tell these things anywhere. So I need to know, and I need to feel safe to do that. So that's what I'm going forward. But I hope that helps.
Yeah, and to add on to that, I've had a personal experience where I've been asked a similar question, except it was more to do about location rather than just why I wanted to change careers, but I still think it's kind of aligned because when it comes to being honest in an interview, sometimes when the employer is asking you these questions, they kind of want to see, are you serious about what you're doing? Like, have you thought about what you're entering and venturing into? And when I was asked the question, like, what, why do you want to like move to Europe for this job? Like, what gave you the interest? And I told them exactly what I liked. I said, oh, I like techno and coffee. And they kind of laughed. It was kind of a moment where you actually can connect with people in the interview room. They see your personality, they see that you have interest in the world, they see who you are, just as Julieth has said. And if they like who you are and they like appreciate you for that, and they also have something in common with you, then you have something to talk about in the interview besides just work. So when it comes to like adding people to teams, maybe this is different depending on culture, but I've been told this when I tried to emigrate to the UK that people don't hire you just because you're skilled, they also hire you because of your personality. So if you show your personality and your skill at the same time, like people will like connect with you and see you as like, oh, we could imagine ourselves working with this person on our team because they're fun, they're vibrant, they bring a lot of enthusiasm and passion to the job. So don't worry so much about like, oh, will I be accepted? It's like the right place will accept you. So as long as you're being honest about that, then I'm pretty sure they can connect with you on that. Alrighty,
I
so
love that exactly. No, I love that. Yes, I mean, again, you want a job that loves your whole self. That's what you want. And I
absolutely.
love what Hypatia was saying. I think a lot of the time the interview questions have to understand them as well. Yes, yeah, yeah, exactly. You wanna make sure that you wanna work for them too. It's not about just them liking you. You wanna make sure that you wanna be in their space, connecting with you, that you see yourself working with the people that is asking you the questions. So yeah, I love that. Mhm.
And I think Ashley has another message. They said, how has social media, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram assisted with your career transition?
Love that. Yes, and I feel like maybe I don't know if TikTok or Instagram, but I think for me, I think at one point, if we go back to 2020, I didn't talk too much about my career transition, but I finished my boot camp 20 July 2020. So we know at that point in 2020, we don't know what anything was happening with the world. Yes, it's like, are the jobs going to be back soon or not? And being a career changer at that point, it was really hard because, as any point in life, and we all know, whoever is looking for a job right now, they ask you for 2, 3 years of experience, and it was hard. But for me, and talking more about social media, is like in my LinkedIn, for example, how do I tell people that this is what I wanted? So it was a change that I would have loved to do it previously or even before I finished my boot camp. Because again, for 10 years, my LinkedIn was all about retail. So the people who I was follow, the groups that I was in, retail, the posters that I have, it was all about retail. So for me, it was really important to start changing my LinkedIn social profile into retail. So who I was following, the designers, who I was commenting, who I was surround myself. It was all about UX. So it took me a while, but and people, when they come to see my LinkedIn, they could see, okay, this person's into UX design. Look, they have comment. Look, they have seen. And honestly, when you start following people in UX, if you're trying to find a job in UX, you're going to see what they're posting. If they're lacking in a job that you cannot see because you don't follow that company, you're going to see it. So for me, that was really powerful to start surrounding yourself with the people that you want to be. For my YouTube channel and for my podcast, was more about how do I keep telling people that I'm care about this? How do I tell people that I'm all in this? And because I didn't have a job at that point and I wanted to keep networking and showing my passion, it's like, okay, to tell how do you start the YouTube channel. For my boot camp, we needed to do a video at the end with our um, capstone project, and I ended up doing like a little video, like a YouTube video. And I remember I showed it to my niece, and she was like, "Oh my goodness, you are a YouTube star!" And I'm like, "Boom! I like this. I like this." Like that, my niece got excited about a little something that I did. So it's like, okay, if I can keep sharing about my transition into UX, what did I did, and how I did it, it was a way for me to keep being creative and sharing my experience and telling people about me. Again, if you're new into the industry, you need to put yourself out and telling people who you are and what you bring into the table. For me, it was my YouTube channel in Spanish and my podcast in English. That one was really useful too, because I would go to people and say, "Hey, I have a podcast. Would you like to be my guest speaker?" So how did I ended up meeting more people, knowing more about the industry, was these two ways. I don't know if that helps, but it was like a way for me to show my love for moving into UX.
Yeah, thanks for answering that. And we got a few messages from Hypatia. Oh, okay, they're just responding to someone else's text. Pavani says thank you, and then oh yeah, Hypatia says I think a lot of time the interviewer's questions help you to understand them as well. I also have something to add to that. Also, in an interview, you could also interview the employer. So it's an exchange. It's like equal. They learn a little bit about you, they tell you about themselves, and then you also do the same. I don't know how you feel about that, Julieth, but that's the way that I look at interviews.
All the time. And I think this is for me. No, that I don't care about when people is asking me question interviews. Yes, that's what you're going to the interviews for. But this is a space for you too. And I feel like a lot of people that is changing careers, we feel like, again, just need a job. So whatever they ask me, I should just say yes or do. And this is a space for you to get to know them too. And I always put it as an example. Let's say that I really want to get married. Yes. Doesn't mean that whoever comes through the door, I'm going to get married and that I'm not going to ask any questions and I'm going to just say yes. This is a serious decision that you're making. Yes, that you're marrying someone. And even though a job is like maybe you're going to stay with them for a year, 6 months, 2 years, whatever it is not that big commitment. You really want to make sure that you are jumping into a space that you're being accepted. You're jumping in a space where your checklist of things that you want them is there. Yes, like I don't know, I want mentorship, I want growth. For me, for example, for the new job that I have, is like I want to be able to work from anywhere in the world. I want to be able to have a flexible schedule. I want to make more money. So when you go into these spaces for an interview, you make sure that you have all these questions ready, that you ask them the things that you want to ask them. And if they are not answering what you want, maybe this is not the right space for you, and that's okay. Yes, again, we're coming back to they say no or you say no, that means that you're just getting closer to where you want it to be, where the job that deserves you.
Yeah, it's funny that you mention dating and stuff because it's like I feel like a job interview is like an arranged marriage.
Yeah.
But it's not like an arranged marriage, but like the idea of like asking questions and getting more insight to find out is this a real match or not, and that's pretty much the same mindset of like making sure that the job is a match for you and what you want, and it's also a match for the employer that you're also what they want as well.
Mm-hmm. And again, because maybe a lot of the people that are talking ADP list, they are, yeah, new immigrants to Canada, or they're like into a new career, they're career switchers. Um, we again, we think we don't deserve to be here. We don't think that we deserve the work space, and we don't deserve best match that we can. But you do, you do. This space is yours. You're visible, you're valuable. So make sure that when you go and talk to people, you're really asking those questions, because you deserve it. You deserve to be treated uh, amazingly. You are deserve to grow in your career, to be mentored, to be loved, to be seen. You deserve all of that. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Do we have any more questions or comments for Julia? It's 1 p.m. now, so we
Uh,
have time for maybe one more and then we'll wrap things up.
I was going to say, like, I open again my calendar for ADP Live mentorship. So if they can drop it here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm taking on it slower, so I have less space for mentorship right now. But I'm always down to meet new people and sit down and talk about all of that we talked today a little deeper. And
Cool. And are there other ways that our members can follow you? Like, are you on LinkedIn or social
yeah,
media?
definitely. Yeah, I feel like just LinkedIn is my main space at the moment. Like whatever, like my YouTube channel, my podcast, everything goes through my LinkedIn. Is don't have, and I think for me, that's one of my, I changed a little bit of my priorities. Is I'm just putting effort and sharing my information in LinkedIn. And yes, I feel like whatever you need to know about my profession and things that I love, you will see them on my LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And by the way, guys, a last reminder before we end this session. If you're wondering if you missed a bit of the webinar when it started, we'll be posting this session on YouTube. So definitely follow us on YouTube. If you're looking for those links, it's on our About Us channel. If you click on that, you'll be able to see all the information about our social media links for like Instagram, LinkedIn, and our Collective Studio YouTube channel. Apart from that, if you got value from this and you really enjoyed this and you want to support the Collective Studio in a very meaningful way, please consider donating. I put the donation link in the chat, and you probably might have seen the donation links posted over and over again. So definitely check out the Collective Studios coffee page. Consider giving us like a one-off donation. The money that we use kind of builds into what we're creating here today. So we're creating a space for you guys to talk to professionals such as Julieth. We're also creating workshops like design sprints, and also we create design sprint templates to help you work on projects of your own and kind of like lead your own kind of design sprint. So if all that stuff is interesting to you, check out the coffee page. There's lots of stuff that we have that are going to be relevant to you. And if you continue to support us, we'll continue to do this. Other than that, thank you everyone for being here, and thanks for being here, Julieth. I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Thank you for all of you that participated and sharing about your life. I feel like sometimes it's not easy, but again, love it. Thank you so much for making my Sunday super happy. Yes.
Amazing. Thank you. See you later, everyone. And also, don't forget, we have events happening from the end of September. So check out Kinesis Talk. She's going to be talking about networking. So if you want to know how to network and figure out how to get a job without having to apply to a job and just talk to someone, definitely, check out that webinar. Just scroll up to the top where you see the listings of events, and then just register for it so you can get a reminder. Okay, great. Thank you guys. Have a great day.